All right. Welcome, everybody.
For the very few people that join us live, hopefully more watch when we're done.
Well, I think it's new.
Yeah, it is new.
This one didn't start off huge either.
Right.
So, and now look at some of the views on there. Welcome, everybody. What are we talking about today?
Today, I was going to wait a couple seconds to let people on, but we are going to talk about contrast therapy. So just a reminder, this is Chili Goat Facebook Live with Chili Goat Tubs by Masterclass. Michael Phelps, Chili Goat Tubs. And today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about contrast therapy, so hot and cold therapy. And it doesn't have to be hot and cold water therapy. It can be cold water therapy with sauna, so dry heat.
That reminds me, we need a sauna. We need a sauna here.
That would be nice to have one in here.
Yes, for sure.
But it can be, like I just said, it can be cold water therapy and then hot therapy in a sauna, whether it's a traditional sauna outside or an infrared sauna, or you can do hot and cold water therapy. So either in a cold tub and then into a hot tub, or you could do the Chili Goat Valaris tub, which is one single unit. We don't
So
have one
gorgeous.
here yet.
It's gorgeous.
But it basically looks like these side by side in a 7x7 unit, where one side is cold, so you can keep that temperature nice and chilly, and the next side is hot, and that is normal hot tub temperature, so it can get up to 104 degrees. And there are a lot of physiological and mental benefits for contrast therapy. So we had touched upon in our previous lives on Chili Goat that there are a lot of physical and mental benefits to cold water therapy, and there are some additional benefits for contrast therapy. So spending a little bit of time in the cold, and then spending some time in the hot, and then going back and forth. My one recommendation, just from some materials that I've read, some courses that I've taken, that there are additional benefits to ending on cold and heating naturally. So as uncomfortable as that is,
I prefer to end on a hot cycle, but we know that it's not.
we've had this conversation many times about that, and doing the hot and cold has its own set of benefits.
Right.
It's great for your body, it's great for your circulation, it's great for stress and mental health because it releases endorphins. It's relaxing, especially the hot part. And so if you need to end on hot some days, please, it's just a great thing for you to do for your body. If you're feeling extra special, gritty, and brave, and you can end on the cold as often as possible, there are some additional benefits with that, especially improving the amount of brown fat, which is the good fat in your body, which helps to improve your metabolism. So it does kind of depend. I'm just going to give you 1 second more. It does kind of depend on your goals. So you have some different options in terms of going back and forth into the heat and cold stuff.
So, yeah, absolutely. So what Mary said, proper contrast therapy, proper cold immersion therapy is very specific based on your goals, which are based on your training program or based on what you've got going on in life.
I was just gonna say, even your lifestyle.
Absolutely, because we've got biohackers. That movement is huge, and their goals are slightly different than, say, your average CrossFitter who is battling like someone beating them with a baseball bat every day. So it's different goals, and there's a different pathway that maximizes results and benefits. I'd also like to add that people always talk about the difference between sauna versus hot water in the contrast therapy, and what you need to understand is and there's a couple of scenarios, and we've learned a lot in the last few years working on these projects, and it's so much fun. if you have a commercial business, you may be better off with dry sauna because warm water is a little bit more work to take care of than cold. Nope, there it is.
We're back.
We lost it for a second. So cold water is easier to take care of than hot water, and for that reason alone, from a commercial perspective, you may be better off with dry sauna. I personally, when I'm always in a hurry, I like to use the hot water because it's faster. So it's definitely a faster cycle. Bing, bing, bing. You can do equal times, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, and it's going to save you time to get to that same physiological advantage. So for me, that's my choice. Am I saying I don't want a sauna here? No, we do. We need a sauna. Susan, we need a sauna. So we definitely want a sauna here because that has its own set of benefits.
Sure,
So
of
all
course.
of these therapeutic modalities have their own separate benefits and additional benefits when they're used
In
together.
combination, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So and you ask, is it confusing?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it can be. To do the right thing for your program, a lot of people have questions, and when we go to events, often, people will ask, hey, this is what I'm doing, what do you think about this? And we'll make tweaks and tunes, and we're happy to do that on here as well. So it really needs to be specific based on you, your age, gender, and goals, workouts, the whole thing.
And it's something that you build up to too.
For sure.
It's marathon, essentially that you're training for, and it's not something that you're not going to be able to run a marathon the first day you try to go and do it. You're going to build up to it, and that might take some time. So if that means that you do 1 minute in the cold tub and 3 minutes in a hot tub, or 1 minute in a cold tub and 10 minutes in a sauna, that's great.
Absolutely.
And start from there and gradually build up to either, a little bit longer time in the cold tub or a little bit chillier temperature and a little bit longer in the sauna, or however it works for you as you're, as you're experimenting with your.
For sure. And if I'm being honest, so it's really cold here today. You never really see us in sweatshirts, and we crank the heat up, and it's cold. To come here in the morning first thing when it's cold in this space and end on a cold cycle is a challenge. And I'll be honest, some days I have it, and some days I'm thinking, you know what, I can use it's providing me a mental break to end on a hot cycle.
Right.
So, and sometimes I'll do it, and that's okay. So, remember, it's all about where you're at. Now, some of our pro athletes, they don't take mental breaks. They do it hard all the time, and they're just the most resilient group of athletes. Between our pro triathletes and our pro CrossFitters, the levels of fitness and athletes that we get to intertwine with are just amazing. And these are amongst the fittest humans on the planet. It's so much fun. So
Not to mention
fantastic.
Michael Phelps. So
Right.
yeah.
Right, which this whole thing is going on because he wanted to do cold tubs. So it's pretty fantastic.
So one thing, just to give you a little background on what actually happens when you go from cold to hot. Cold, and we have mentioned this in previous slides, but cold, and we kind of know this because you put ice on injuries and things like that. Cold reduces inflammation. So you're going to reduce inflammation when you're in the cold, and then when you get in hot, it's going to improve your circulation and relax your muscles. So you're getting this contrast with restriction and contraction and expansion, essentially, of your blood flow, and that actually helps to improve the blood flow to your muscles, which ultimately is going to help with healing and recovery when you're talking about physical benefits.
For sure.
Mental benefits, you do, like I mentioned earlier, have some endorphin release when you go back and forth from the cold to the hot. Cold is going to reduce some, dopamine and norepinephrine, and the hot is going to reduce stress, reduce cortisol, and which is all good for your mental health and your mood. So it's good for anti-stress and just kind of improving your overall mental being.
For sure.
And just to reiterate, this cold and hot therapy is not something new. It's been
none of this is new, just the technology.
Right. Yeah. Athletes have been doing this for years.
Forever.
You know, it's something that is pretty well researched in terms of cold and hot therapy. In fact, I just read an article of a meta-analysis that was done comparing cold immersion, actually cryotherapy, and contrast therapy for recovery. And for overall recovery, contrast therapy helps to decrease creatine kinase, which is best for overall body recovery, where cryotherapy is a little bit better for reducing muscle soreness. So there are some different benefits to cryotherapy or contrast therapy, but for overall recovery, contrast therapy was shown to be statistically significantly better.
I would be curious, at what age did Michael Phelps do his first cold immersion therapy? We should find out.
Yeah, we should find that out.
I wonder. I'll bet you it was very young.
Yeah, we do have a lot of athletes that knew of the benefits of cold water therapy or contrast therapy because they were doing it in high school or even pre-high school with sports, especially if they were elite athletes.
For sure.
So their coaching staff always would recommend that.
And even when 10, 12-ish years ago when we were racing Ironman, we knew that afterwards, if you got into a garbage can filled with ice, it was better for your legs 100% post-race.
Just for that reduction of inflammation, for sure.
It's so huge. So this is not anything new, and that is, compared to how long ice is known to be, great for inflammation, 12 years ago is nothing. It's hundreds of years that this has been known. So really interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So if anyone has any questions with the Chili Goat Lives, we do try to keep these a little bit more condensed, and so we keep people a little bit more interested. But if you have any questions and you're on here live, I can't see how many people are actually here, shoot us them right now. We've got a couple of seconds
look at this.
here.
He did it for the first time prepping for the 2012 games. I'm surprised. I actually would have thought it would have been even younger than that. That's surprising.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always. Kayla's always on the ball.
Kayla, how did you find that out so fast? What the heck?
But if you do have any questions and you are watching this after we're live, so later today or another day, please post them here and we will be able to answer them at a later time. We do try to check these posts to make sure that we answer all the questions.
And you can always send in a message as well.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Awesome.
So thank you everyone, and we will see everyone back in 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure that that was weird. I'm pretty sure that it is December 17th. 11th is this week, so 18th I think. So in 2 weeks we'll see everybody for another Chili Goat Live for Christmas.
Very cool.
Thank you. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
See you in 2. Later, guys.